When will they have their first, like, I know they'll do the internship, which I think is fabulous, but will they do any job shadowing earlier?
10th graders do job
Will
shadowing.
that continue? I know they do.
Mhm.
Will that continue so they get an earlier look to see,
Yes.
so they're not
Yes.
doing that
Yeah.
internship at their senior year
Right.
and thinking, oh my
And-
goodness,
and
I don't
we-
want to do this.
And right now, we have 3 to 4 dates a year in 10th
Right.
grade that they actually go out to the job site.
Okay.
That may increase if we, if we can, but we don't want to do too much with one person or organization or business in the community, because we don't want to overextend them. But we do plan on continuing the job shadowing in 10th grade, because we have been doing senior mentorship in 12th
Yes.
grade, but we have only done that for a block, where now the internship is more of a half-day program or a full-day program.
Okay.
I just went up and met with one of my interns and his the person that's going to be his mentor. And, my dream for all of my students, or for every Alleghany student, is to be in a situation where they could do a full day or a half day the second semester of their senior year. That means they have completed all of their requirements for their diploma and the SOLs and credentialing test. And I actually have 2 students that I was talking with today and their mentor that, perfect example of that. They've done what they needed to do, and now they get to enjoy that last semester of their senior year doing something that probably will be a career for them.
Well, thank you for answering,
Yeah,
because, I
absolutely.
think that's going to be a major concern
And-
of the parents.
and when
That's
we-
going to be the number one
Yeah,
question.
and when we always go down to the middle school and meet with the rising 9th graders as well. We sit down one-on-one with them, and we talk about what they have in their academic and career plan. And now we'll be introducing the pathways, plans of study to them as something that they can look at to make that what I call a 4-year plan. And parents are always welcome. I think the middle school does a great job at getting that information of when we're going to be there. And we have talked about having certain nights that we'll be there for parents that want to come in, and we may do that if we have the need at the high school as well, to be able to offer as much communication to the parent as we possibly can.
Thank you.
The other part of this is, and Mr. Lanford can comment about it, is the entire community has been working with us for the culminating activity for internships. And so started small this year. It's not really required until 2022. But if we can increase it every year, and we have all our kids having experience. Probably won't be able to do it all the last semester because of the number, but probably that senior year between the first and second, we can balance that out. And so we'll be meandering a little bit through the path to find that out. But the flexibility is built into the schedule for classes we haven't been able to offer now, so that we can offer those kids who may be, or those students who may be in a very specific course they want for a specific program. Now we can go ahead and work through Dabney, through Virtual Virginia, and some other universities as well. So.
And I just want to say how progressive thinking the people were at Alleghany High School before I came, because this is my 13th year there, and the senior mentorship program and the job shadowing was already in place when I came there. Michelle Arbogast and Donna Vaughn had already put those in place, and I don't know how long before that, but they're at least 13, 14, 15 plus years that we've been doing this idea of getting the kids into the community and into jobs that they may want to pursue.
I'd like to add to that too, as the special educator represented here. Before I even got there, when Mr. Umstead, who is in here somewhere, when I first got there, he was already implementing jobs, going on work sites and everything with the special ed students. And we have continued that throughout the entire time I've been there for 22 years. So I don't know when it started. I know Mr. Vaughn and Mr. Umstead were there, but we're continuing that as well with the TEACH program.
Other questions?
Okay. Well,
Yes.
one of the things probably we need to make public, okay, is one of the things that was brought up in a meeting we were at not too long ago, is that because we were asked we were touting that Alleghany High School, or school system, was going to do the new tech.
Yes.
And the question that was asked to us, okay, do you still have to take SOLs? And then the second question was, how are you going to teach them? So I knew what our answer was there, but I'd like maybe somebody to step up and say, okay, this is what we're going to do.
Well, the answer is still there. There'll be a change because the state's making a change. We'll know that change probably hopefully in January. Looks like it'll be 5 SOLs, one in at the high school level, one in math, one in science, one in social studies, and one in reading, and one in writing. That combination has been worked out. We also may be able to use a
Performance-based assessment.
performance-based assessment for social studies. We're still hammering that out a little bit. But the key is this: if you and I are teaching a class together, okay, we have got to come together and plan how we're going to cover those SOLs in that classroom. So the SOL the SOL test will still be administered for those classes, less, okay, but the challenge for our staff will be over a period of time to develop those projects, and within those projects, how are they going to cover the SOLs? The research right now there shows that kids are going to learn the concepts that are part of the SOLs, okay, by doing, okay? And so if they're part of project-based learning versus just knowing, they're also by doing, they're going to learn those concepts. And so our job then as two teachers will be to work together. I think Ms. Elmore is going to be working with Mr. Tucker.
That's correct. And one of the things I wanted to add, if I may, for what he was saying is the state requires in driver education that you have 36 hours of classroom driver education. Since I've gotten there, and I'm probably long before me because, you know, I'm just me, we have done more hours than 36 with guest speakers and that sort of thing. What we plan to do is no different with that 36 hours, but there will be an additional cultural kind of thing with talking about driving laws with Spain, talking about speed limits and that sort of thing. So we, you know, my 36 hours will turn into a project that will also incorporate a large part of the other countries and that sort of thing. So we are not going to lose any kids. You're going to gain people like myself that can't sit still, that needs to be hands-on, and that needs to come to school and enjoy themselves. And that's, I'm psyched because I don't know what I could have accomplished. I mean, shoot, I may be an astronaut or something had I had somebody let me do project-based learning when I was going through. But I'm too old and they didn't even know what the word project meant.
One of the things we explained during the meeting was that, you know, everybody had problems getting their kids to eat broccoli or something good for them. The key is to put it in a manner, in a form that they like, that they don't know it's broccoli, but it is broccoli, right? And that's what we have to do with these SOLs, so I understand. Is during the project-based learning, we're going to make those SOL information we have to teach them, but we'll teach them in a manner that they don't think it's SOL.
Well, another good example for math, and say with Mr. Mays' class, when do we all learn fractions? Okay, and I'm a math person. All right, so I knew fractions, but when did I really learn? When I learned to measure. When I went to the yardstick, or if I'm in culinary arts, when I learned to measure. All right, now, I still have to look up ounces and things because I don't use it all the time, but with measuring, that's when you learn. That's when kids begin to learn. And when they start learning, we become, I think, like Mr. Persinger said, a student-centered versus teacher-centered classroom. Those kids are going to learn better. The research supports that. There's a new video on the New TechNet website about a school in South Carolina, a rural school, and some of the changes they've made over the last 3 years, which is maybe a 10-minute video. I encourage you to go look at it because what they've done there and changed. But the biggest thing, and I heard Ms. Dixon's class talk last Friday, and it was a regular English 10 class, and the excitement in them, going up in front of that stage with the big screen down, each having a microphone, talking about the research they did, explaining what they did and how the conclusions they came to. Now, they were all different. One talked about making the bathrooms better at the high school. One talked about dust in the heating system. One talked about changing the grading scale, okay? Going to a 60, 70, 80, 90. But they did the research. They were excited about it. And see, when you see that, we're all going to learn. And I commend the hard work that the high school staff is. You know, when I talked to them in August about meeting every week for a whole semester and putting a plan together, they probably looked at me like that was crazy. But you're all done it, so. And happy to again answer any questions.
I do have a question. I want to commend everybody here that came out tonight. It was an excellent presentation, Mr. Ross. I have a question about the career coach. Is that person employed by our school system or by Dabney?
That's a grant from Dabney, and that's going to go away. That will be, what Dabney has asked us to do is to look if we can come up with $15,000. That will be in one of our budget, when we get to the budget items that we'll place on there, and that'll be a decision by the board, along with other topics we'll have to decide about.
Okay, so if we don't approve something like that, would that fall on the shoulders of our guidance counselors? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
And others as
Okay.
well, yes.
That was just a question. I knew that Dabney employed career coaches. How many do they have at this point?
We have one, how many days a week do we get?
2 days with us, 2 days at JRTC. I would say they have anywhere from 3 to 4 career coaches. And they are really an extension of us in that they can do things that we cannot do, especially for students that are going to attend Dabney when they leave us. They can actually administer the BPT, which is Dabney's placement test. They can actually schedule students into fall semester classes, like before they leave us in May, they can already be pre-scheduled into those classes. So, and they also can work with our students and parents on their FAFSA and the Dabney application. And we're just getting ready to have a student meeting with Ms. Thompson, who's the director of the foundation of the scholarship committee at Dabney. So the career coach also assists with that as well. So they are quite busy.
When our community leaders came to Ms. Snead Johnson and myself and asked about the program, they were running full speed ahead. And I said, that's great, you guys are ahead of us by about 2 years, I think I said. And I do see this down the road, and I'm just being very straightforward. This is an additional position because whoever is going to go out and get those intern positions is going to make the contact with the businesses and then follow up. And so how we would reorganize, whether it's the career coach or counselor or something like that, it really is. If you're going to put 160 kids out there, say 80 and 80, that's a full-time job, going out there and finding those positions, maintaining them, because this also has got to benefit our community and business people. You know, it can't be a distraction for people who are working on the job, and so you know it's got to be a benefit both in some ways. And so we're entering into it slowly. Like we have about 9 or 10 students going to be part of it this year, and they, like I've spoken to them, they're going to be our testers in the water and finding out what we need to do better. So I think we need to think beyond high school. You think about where they're going to be in 3 years after high school and 5 years. We need to really work hard and prep them as they go down the road. So. Anything else?
On the redesign, I noticed the walls, we talked a lot about the partition. Are we going to upgrade the furniture?
Yes.
In those rooms?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will the furniture be
Have you got
upgraded?
your furniture yet?
Got the tables in.
All right, got the chairs. Not yet. Okay. Yeah, we've already done one thanks to some of our assistants over here from Dr. Heath, and we'll have others as well, so yes.
So will all the classrooms at Alleghany High School have updated furniture, or just the ones that are going to be?
Maybe,
combined?
no, it may not be completely updated yet. We may beg, borrow, and steal. Clifton Middle School is mostly moved out all their regular student desks, correct? And have begged, borrowed, and steal tables and different things, so we may in the same boat, but we'll, over a period of time, hope to replace whatever teachers want. I'd rather do it slowly because after next year, this group experiments with furniture. They may come back with a different idea of what might be better.
Okay.
I'm currently using old cafeteria tables and the exercise balls in my driver ed as well as my health classrooms currently.
So,
Thank you.
you're welcome.